Hello everybody. My name's Michael, and just a short little video for you here for the YouTube channel. And thank you very much to Global Live Speakers for asking me to do a short video for the channel. Excuse me, I'm just going to adjust my screen. So that's better. Yeah, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, really. I've been quite intrigued by something that Andrea said in a live video earlier on today on the Facebook channel about discovering your true self. And this made me think back to all the time and work I've been doing to try and do that. And it is all about learning and self-improvement, and there is no end to that. So that keeps going and keeps going, which is absolutely fine. And that's something I very much enjoy. I just wanted to tell you my story, really, which, to be honest, is something that I've always struggled with because I'm quite shy, maybe, or because I don't want to be embarrassed, maybe, which does seem a bit odd, really, but that's what my brain's telling me. So that's what I believe. I have to work out how to rewrite that. So as a child, I grew up in a fairly comfortable household. You know, I was, if you like, an idyllic childhood. I had things that I needed, and I was quite secure, and in that sense, really nothing terribly much to worry about. And as I got a little bit older, I went to university, and again there, you know, fine, nothing particularly much to worry about. Not really taking on any responsibilities. This is an interesting thing. So, you know, even at the age of sort of 18, I'm still not taking on responsibility for a lot of things, really. And so I think consequently, probably still feeling that there's that valley of blame, or that safety net that's there for me if I need it. And then a little later, I started to work, and that was okay, you know, earning a little bit of money, and I got married, and then I suffered a serious head injury. This is quite interesting. I fell off a balcony, which is clumsy at best, and extremely stupid and nearly fatal at worst. And so that was more of a setback than I think I've ever realized until these last couple of years, 2 years, when I've been really sort of learning the self-improvement and trying to understand my emotions better, so that I can be more understanding of others, because that genuinely, I do believe that. So going back to discovering my true self, that took me a year to recover from that injury in hospital and various things and what have you. I won't bore you with the details, but, you know, major operations and on my brain, and had part of my brain removed and things like that, which I know sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it isn't. That's a true story. And so that changed my outlook. It changed the way I could do things. I mean, after a year of being in hospital, being in a coma, being operated on, I sort of eventually came round and started to had to learn how to do things all over again. So I couldn't read, I couldn't walk, and so that's the basic. Well, that's the basic stuff that I had to learn again. And so I went through learning that again. And I think ever since then, my goal was to get back to normal. And my normal world at the time was living to what society expects of me. So I wanted to get back to having a job, a career, earning more money, and these are the top goals for me at this point. And eventually get back to that, and learning how to earn more money, and working in a job that I did enjoy it, but I was always living within that bubble of the safety net, because I had that financial security. And yeah, okay, I was taking responsibility for it because it was me that was earning the money, but I was still had the safety net there for me, and I was still living in the bubble that society has there for you. The expectations that are put in your place, and I didn't really have the opportunity to understand myself during any of that time. I was just trying to focus on doing better, and by better, I mean the way that's measured is by how much money you're earning, what type of car you drive, and how big your house is, which is a long way off the mark. I didn't really learn anything about my own values and what's important to me as a person, what matters to me as a person. I don't think I actually knew that. Went about relearning all that again, and learning that and going down that path. And then a couple of years ago, following redundancy, I then started to question what sort of a person I would become, what I'd actually learned about myself. And the answer was not very much, really. So at the time, I decided to go down the path of self-development, and taking a more spiritual approach to my life, because I felt that was where I needed to be. I needed to be back to what I really, or I needed to understand what really drove me, as a person. I'm not talking about how much money you've got. It's not talking about earning things. It's not talking about owning things. It's talking about becoming a better person and understanding myself, understanding my emotions, and understanding how I feel. And as I got better and better at that, of course, the work goes on. We all know that. I start then to realize that this tangled web that is your brain, it just doesn't give you a break, So I think we've got a lot of perspectives, a lot of viewpoints here about how you find inner peace and peace of mind and happiness, which is, again, for me, is the main goal as to what we want from life. That's what that itching feeling is, where you've got a sort of nagging doubt about, why aren't I doing this? Why aren't I doing that? Because I have to accept that will always be there, and understand that there are things that are outside of my control that I can do nothing about, and just have to let that go, which I'm getting better at now. There's nothing I can do about, well, I mean, obviously a fairly current example and recent example is the COVID pandemic. There's nothing me personally that I could have done to prevent that, and that applies to any one individual globally. So it's not for me to blame myself. That's probably a more obvious one that you wouldn't blame yourself about. But there are other examples, possibly people closer to you. Or was it my fault? Should I have done this? Could I have done that? It's very important to let yourself off the hook and show yourself a bit of self-compassion and learn your own emotions and have empathy with yourself, understand yourself, and then you can start to have empathy with others. And this is where it really begins for me. You can start to understand others, and this was something that really scared me, was talking to other people. I used to be really, really quite scared of that, quite fearful, because I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to embarrass myself. And that's a common thing as well. You know, that's something that's with us all. But I learned to start really just by listening, because everyone really wants to talk, and wants to feel important and wants to be listened to. So I do listen to people, and I'm quite pleased with my progress in that regard, because I do think that's important, and that helps me to relate to other people. And then at the same time, I can share positive energy that I have with those other people and understand more about those other people, who, as I say, enjoy talking about what it is they're doing, or what it is that's upsetting them, or what it is that's making them happy. And I think there's always something that you can learn from that, which is extremely useful for my own personal development. And I'm feeling much more comfortable with that now. As I've embarked on the journey of, if you want to call it self-improvement, or becoming more aware of myself, discovering my true self, what you do is you discover things that you don't really want to. So moving from that bubble, that nice, safe bubble that I've been living in for so long, into a world where, actually, I am that type of character, or am I? What? Oh, and why have I just done that? I don't like that. I don't like that emotion. That's not like me. You learn more about yourself, and you learn then that you have to forgive yourself, and you have to love yourself and let yourself off, show a bit of empathy towards yourself, and understand that you're going to handle things wrong in some situations. That's just the way it is. And that goes for your own head as well as the way you interact with other people. And that's been a huge eye-opener for me. I'm learning how to understand my own emotions, and how to accept that understand my emotions, and then how to either forgive myself, or identify where I can take action and do things that are within my control, to then make myself feel at ease and find myself back in that state of balance, where I feel like I've got a more peace of mind, which, as I said earlier, is really, that's where I want to be. So it's like being it's kind of like being on a paddle board, really, on the sea. That's something that I do from time to time. So you've got to balance on the waves on the sea. Well, hopefully not that many waves. Hopefully it's fairly flat, but you've still got to balance, and you find that balance about where is the weight. You adjust your weight to where the paddleboard is, and how the waves are coming in at you. So I'm feeling that I'm now more capable of doing the same with life, basically, with emotions my brain is manifesting within me, and also with life around me, and what other people are throwing at me. May be deliberately, probably unlikely to be deliberately, to be honest with you. I just think it's really important to be understanding, and that on any given day, you can start the day with the best of intentions, which I do now happily. I'm feeling very positive. Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. Great, yeah, that'll be a brilliant day. But of course, there's always going to be people that are going to try and, well, not deliberately, but they will upset that balance. There will be a wave on your paddleboard. So you have to learn how to adjust to it so that you can stay balanced and peaceful on your paddleboard while those waves come at you. That's just about understanding that's about understanding why people are doing that, and showing them some empathy and showing them understanding. And a big part of that is listening and just being peaceful within yourself. There are a lot of emotions that would probably did and still do to a certain extent manifest themselves within me that and now I can understand, and I can cope with without actually expressing them, to other people or to myself. Really, I just understand. For example, a good one would be anger, where somebody does something differently from the way you were expecting to do something, or the way you were expecting a particular scenario to pan out. And you have to understand that they're not doing that on purpose. They're not doing that deliberately to have a go at you personally, at me personally. That's just the way that is. So you have to live with that, and you have to be calm and cool about it. And I do believe that I'm getting there. And I do believe that it's a different challenge for all of us. I don't like to preach to people and say, this is how you do it. Because I don't think it is. I don't think there is an answer. I mean, everybody's different. That's what makes the world great. So everybody finds different ways to keep their paddleboard balanced. And it'll be a challenge for everybody. And hopefully, this is the thing, hopefully a challenge that you're bold enough to rise to, rather than just staying in your bubble and relying on your safety net. Because the amount of learning you find there is just so uplifting. It's wonderful. And yes, of course, I think more challenges come at you, frankly, come at you left, right, and centre. And you think, oh my God, what am I doing here? I need to just stop learning more about this. Because everything I learn is opening up a new door to further learning. Where you think, oh God, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even know that. But don't let it get on top of you. It's okay to keep learning and keep loving yourself. And all the time, the thing is, you're building a good character. And that's the thing to be very, very proud about. The fruit of this life for me is a good character. And that is where we want to be. Peaceful and balanced on our paddleboards with a good character. Thank you.